Good morning, everybody, and as usual, happy Saturday, folks. Hope everybody's having a good start to their weekend. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today's stick mobility class. Feels good to be back. I was out last weekend, but I'm back. So, for today's class, we are going to need access to 2 long sticks. For today, we are still working with suspension trainers, but for today's class, I'm actually going to kind of focus a little bit on like more of a hypertrophic type of workout. So we are going to do full body, and what we're going to do it in the way of a circuit. So for the upper body aspect, we're going to do a curl, a skull crusher or tricep extension working exercise, and a reverse fly type of exercise. So we're going to do that in a circuit. After that, we're going to get into 1 core drill with the suspension trainers. After that, we're going to get into a skater squat. So like I mentioned, we are going to be doing a full body type of workout. So the structure of today's class is actually going to be a little bit different than usual, but we're still going to actually go through our warm up. So we're going to spend a little bit more time working with the suspension trainer for today. However, for the warm up, we're going to go through the entire body. So let's go ahead and get started, folks. We're going to start off with 2 long sticks here. All right, those sticks. We're going to start off with the feet and ankles first, then move to the pelvis. After that, we're going to move on to the spine. Now I'm going to start with my feet wider than shoulder width. Toes are pointed forward, and I want to get into a horse stance here. I'm going to have both sticks in line with my big toe, and I'm going to have both hands roughly about shoulder height here. Now getting in that horse stance, remember, we don't want to be hinged forward. We want to be up nice and tall. Everything is stacked. Keeping all 5 toes in contact with the floor, we're going to bring both heels up as high as we can without the hips coming up. Then we're going to come back down nice and slow. Keep your heels off the floor the entire time. Bring the heels back up. Good. Down. Hover those heels. Back up. Good. Down. Up. We're not driving the sticks down. It's just for balance here. Down. And then up again. Hold at the top here. Hover the sticks off the floor. Bring them out to the side. This is just to work on that balance and stability in the feet and ankles. Bring them back forward. Place them on the floor. Now I'm going to drop my right heel down, keeping my left heel up nice and high. And I'm going to start to laterally shift at the heel. So shifting the heel towards the center line. And now we're going to shift that heel out away from the center line. Shift that left heel in. And then out. In. Should be on that big toe here. And then out on that pinky toe. Back to center. Bring that left heel down. Right heel up high. Shift that right heel in towards the center line. Then out and away. Back in. And out. In. One more time. And out. Excellent. Back to center. Both heels down. And ease off. Let's get into those pelvic tilts. Turn it to the side here. We're still going to keep that wide horse stance. So the sticks are still angled in towards us. You want to have them maybe on the inside of your foot here. Hands are still at about roughly shoulder height. I'm going to drive those sticks down about 20% tension. Now from here, I'm going to do a posterior tilt. So I'm going to tuck my pelvis in, squeezing my glutes, driving my knees apart. Now I'm going to do an anterior tilt. I'm going to tuck my pelvis the opposite way. Posterior tilt, squeeze those glutes, drive those knees apart so we're getting hip extension and abduction. Anterior tilt. Posterior tilt. Good. Anterior tilt. Posterior tilt. And anterior tilt. Excellent. Back to center. Now from here, we're going to do the lateral tilt. So I'm going to face forward for this. So still in that wide stance, drive those sticks down. We're going to bump the right hip up. Excellent. Now I'm going to bump the left hip up. So as you're bumping that side up, you should be feeling that glute firing. So as I bump my right hip up, my right glute fires. As I bump my left hip up, the left glute fires. Right, left, that opposite hip should be dropping. Right, breathe, left, right, and left. Excellent, back to center, and relax. We're still gonna work on the hips a little bit here. I'm gonna have my left stick forward at 12 o'clock. Right stick is gonna be out at 3. Now we're gonna do abduction and adduction here, right? So we're gonna go between both sticks. Main objective here, no shifting, right? You wanna remain upright. If somebody were to come and take the sticks away, you should be staying upright here, all right? Left stick's at 12, right stick's at 3. Create a pretty good distance with the bottom of the stick here. Wanna make it challenging. Both hands are roughly about chest to shoulder height. We're gonna drive both sticks down 30%. I'm gonna keep my left foot active. I'm gonna grab the ground with my left foot. I'm gonna hover the right foot off the floor, bring it forward, and I'm gonna press or push the inside of my foot or the arch of my foot into that left stick, going to 9 o'clock. Now I'm gonna bring that right foot to 3 o'clock, push against the stick at 30%. Good, bring it back forward to the left stick, push. Keep that ankle dorsiflexed. Now go to the right stick, push. Drive the stick down, bring it to the left stick and push. So you should be feeling those adductors light up here. Good. Out to the right stick. Should be feeling those lateral glute tissues activate. And ease off. Excellent. Nice and easy. Now we're going to switch sides. We're going to do that same thing. Drop both sticks down. Right foot actively grabs the ground. Hover the left. Bring it forward. Push against that right stick. Excellent. Bring it out to 9 o'clock. Push. And we're pushing with that mid foot. Excellent. Bring it back forward. Push. Excellent. Bring it out to 9. Push against the stick. Bring it forward. Push. Bring it out to the left and push. Excellent, and ease off. Wonderful. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to work with rotations. So for this drill, we're going to start off in that T-spine extension that I love to do so much. However, we're going to be rotating the sticks or rotating ourselves to each side here. I'm going to have my feet about roughly hip to shoulder width. The distance of your feet, it doesn't necessarily matter that much. It's just whatever keeps you in a good position. I'm going to have both sticks roughly in line with my shoulders. I'm going to have my hands at roughly about shoulder height. You can also go a little higher if you don't want to hinge as far back. Now from here, arms are straight. I'm going to lightly drive the sticks into the floor about 20%. And now I'm going to hinge back, reaching my hands out. So this is the first part of the exercise, right? So we're getting that extension in the spine. And by the way, the sticks are angled in quite a bit here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate both sticks to my right. And I want to make sure my head clears my shoulders. So as I get over here, notice that my shoulder position is at 12 and 6 just about. Now so I want to hold that position here, bring it back forward, and now I'm going to rotate to the other side. Make sure your head clears your shoulders, and you can drop that shoulder going down towards the bottom of the stick. Back forward, rotate to the other side. Should be getting a nice good stretch in the shoulders. Nice good stretch in the T-spine, other side. Excellent. One more time each way. Breathe. Back to the other side. Excellent. Come back forward and come up. Excellent. Now I'm going to place one stick down for now. And what we're going to do here is we're going to work with a little bit of an overhead position just to kind of work on the shoulders. We're going to go with a double overhand grip. Now from here, I'm actually gonna face this way so I don't hit the ceiling. We're gonna go with a double overhand grip. You wanna actually go with the wide grip, so my hands are out relatively wide, much wider than shoulder width here. And I'm gonna have foot forward position, roughly about hip to shoulder width. Squeeze those glutes to keep those hips in extension. Now from this position, I wanna keep my arms straight. That's important for this particular drill. And I'm gonna pull the stick apart, only about 20% tension, so nothing too significant. Now from here, I'm gonna slowly bring that stick up overhead. Once I get to that overhead position, I'm gonna pull more with one side than the other. So I'm gonna pull more with my right hand, and I wanna get my left bicep as close to my ear as I possibly can. And now I'm gonna pull more with the left hand, still pulling that stick apart, getting my right bicep to my right ear. Pull with the right. Pull with the left. Right. And left. Excellent. Back to center. Come down. Compress the stick all the way down, nice and easy, and relax. We're gonna flip or grip. We're gonna reach on the stick as wide as we can. We're gonna do some kayaking here. Before we get into kayaking though, we're gonna work with some rotation, all right? So from this position here, having my arms stretched out as wide as I comfortably can, I'm gonna lightly pull the stick apart. So as I pull that stick apart, you should be feeling some extension in the thoracic spine. So pull apart about 20%, keep that forward foot position, keep those glutes tight, and I'm gonna rotate to my left, still pulling the stick apart, so you should be getting a lot of upper back activation. Now I'm gonna rotate to the right. And as I do that, I wanna keep my hips facing forward the best way I can, or as much as I can. Rotate to the left, and right. Keep pulling that stick apart. Left, right. Excellent, back forward. Now we get into the kayaking. Start with that left hand up, drive that left hand through. Nice and easy. Try to feel that shoulder blade gliding along the rib cage. That's gonna be important for that first part that we're gonna do on the suspension trainers, right? Like I mentioned, we're gonna do an upper body circuit. The reps are gonna be a lot. We're gonna do 10 reps for each exercise. It's gonna be fun, maybe. All right, keep going, nice and slow. You should not be going faster than I am here, right? Just go backwards. Breathe. Try to get as much range as you can manage. Excellent, and relax. Good. We're gonna do another drill. We're gonna have both hands facing up towards the ceiling. Now for this particular drill, the grip width is gonna be variable depending on your shoulder mobility, what you're most comfortable with. Whatever doesn't cause any pain, as usual. Now, for me, I'm gonna go slightly outside of shoulder width here. So both palms are gonna be up, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip my right hand over my left here. So as I do that, getting a stretch in the upper back, right? So we're getting some of that separation here. Now from this position, I'm going to actually round my upper back. So I'm gonna create as much flexion as I can in that upper back and T-spine. So I'm gonna get a nice good stretch in the shoulder blades. I'm gonna come back up, and I'm gonna flip the stick back to the original position, and now I'm gonna flip to the other side. All right, same thing, you wanna round, get as much flexion as you can manage. Breathe. Back up. Back to the starting position. Flip the other hand over again. Round. Now we're going to do micro movements. I want little bits of rotation to each side. Back up, return back to center. Let me return forward for this. Other side, flip, round, micro movements, minor bits of rotation. Back to center, up, rotate back, and excellent. Good. Now let's go ahead and get into the fun part. Like I mentioned, we're going to do a suspension training type of hypertrophic workout. So it's going to be a lot of reps here, folks. I'm not going to lie. However, again, adjust it as you need to. If you need to take a little bit of a longer break, if you need to drop those reps down, do not be afraid to. But as usual, we can always adjust as we go along. It all depends on your angle. Now I'm going to bring this in a little closer. All right, perfect. All right, folks, so first exercise we're going to start on, bicep curls, right? Now, this is going to be pretty simple, pretty easy to do. The main thing is controlling your angle. If you are at a more of a parallel angle to the floor, that means you get more tension. If you're at a more of a perpendicular angle, that means you get less tension. So adjust as you need to as we go along here. The first exercise is going to be a bicep curl, and I'll show you each exercise just so we kind of get a little bit of an idea. Now for the bicep curl, we want both palms to be facing up towards the ceiling. So a good way to start is walk up. So pull so there's tension on the suspension trainer. Hands should be touching the chest, and then from there lean back. This is going to typically be a good starting position. The hard part about this one is keeping your elbows up. You don't want your elbows to drop as you're curling. What that looks like here is if I'm doing it properly, elbows are staying up high. What's not going to get that same effectiveness is if my elbows are dropping, right? Keep those elbows up high as we do those curls here. So for the tricep extensions, it's going to kind of be the same thing. If you're at more of a parallel angle, you get more tension. So you can stand back, and you're actually going to get some core engagement here. I'm going to keep my hands out, right? Now, I'm actually bending at the elbow, right? So I don't want a lot of shoulder movement, but as I come down, it's very similar to a skull crusher. When I press up, the positioning of my hands actually don't move up or down. My hands stay exactly where they are. So it should be a very consistent repetition here. Now, for the reverse fly, I'm sorry, I know I'm trying to make sure that everybody gets this. For the reverse fly, think of the same thing as the curl. Start with the suspension trainer at your chest. You're going to lean back, arms are straight or slightly bent, and I'm going to pull the suspension trainer apart to a top position, and I'm actually keeping tension of leaning back, and I'm going to slowly return back here. Right? So that is going to be the 3 exercises we're going to do. We're going to do 10 repetitions each, and we're just going to go from one right to the next. So we're only going to do 2 rounds of this. It's going to be fun. Let's get into it, folks. Let's start at the curls first. So get set in your position, lean back, palms are up towards the ceiling, keep those elbows up high, pull in, there's 1, keep it nice and controlled. In, there's 2, and 3, and 4, 5. So 5 more, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, 10. Excellent. Turn around, right into the skull crushers. Hands are out. Great, get that angle. You should have it filled out by now. All right, so down, Hands are coming to forehead. Push. 1, 2, 3. Nice and controlled. 4. Keep that core engaged. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. 10. Excellent. Reverse fly. So going to turn around, get in position. Same setup. Straighten those arms out. Slight bend to the elbow, so a tiny bit of a pull. Pull apart. That's 1. Down slow. See the speed? That's the speed I want you at. Pull. 2. Nice and slow. You should be feeling that upper back working nice and hard. 3. 4. 5. 6. Make sure you're breathing here. 7. 8. 9. 10. Back slow. Excellent. Good. We're going to do a little bit of loosening up in between here. So we're going to take both sticks and we're just going to do a double hang. We're just going to want to get a light hang in the hands here. So right foot is forward, left foot is back. Bottom of the sticks are behind the heel of the front foot. Hands are at the top of the stick. It was really lightly going to drop into a little bit of a hang here. So I'm keeping quite a bit of tension in my legs, but we just want to hold on here, get a nice good stretch in the shoulders, in the lats. Make sure you're breathing here, folks. Excellent. Come back up. Let's switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Hands are up nice and high. Lightly drop down. Breathe. Excellent. Back up. Ease off. Let's get into another set here, folks. Now, if you want to make it more challenging, I'd invite you to do so, right? Create a little bit more of an angle, make it a little bit harder on yourself. This is the last set, by the way, so why not make it a little bit more fun? All right, 10 reps of each. If you find that your grip is getting a little bit too taxed, do not be afraid to back off. Take a little bit longer of a break, right? If your grip starts to go out, so that's really hard to try to overcome. All right, let's get into it, folks. So find that angle, again, make it a little more challenging if you can. So I'm gonna step forward a little bit more, just a tiny bit. All right, let's do 10 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Let's go ahead and turn around, get into those skull crushers. And again, if you want to create more of an angle, make it a little harder, do so, right? That's the good thing about suspension training is you can make it as challenging as you want to. So I'm going to create a little bit more of an angle here. All right, 10 reps. So down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Let's go ahead and turn this thing around. Let's get into those reverse flies. Palms are in towards one another. All right. 10 reps, folks. Slide bend to the elbows. Pull out. 1. Back slow. Up. 2, up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more time, 10. Excellent. Good. Wonderful. All right. The phone on the right can make it a little bit hypertrophic. Let's go ahead and get into the core drill with the sticks. We're actually going to be doing a dead bug just to keep this one nice and simple before we actually get into the skater squats. We're going to need one stick and we are going to the floor. Now, what we're going to be focusing on here, as usual, is that pelvic and rib cage alignment. So that means I am driving the front of my rib cage into the floor, right? So almost like I can keep my upper back off the floor. Pelvis, I am posteriorly tilting. So we did that earlier, so it should feel natural, almost pretty easy to engage that, right? I'm going to grip out wide on the stick, and I'm going to have the stick effectively directly over my hips. Not my belly button, but my hips. I'm going to bring both knees up, and I'm going to create compressive force. So I'm pushing down and driving up. So let's go up 40%. So create that compressive force, get a nice good amount of tension. We're going to hold at 40% for 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Your lower back should be flat to the floor. If there's a marshmallow under your back, try to crush that thing, right? Make it flat. All right, let's go again. Let's go to 50% and create that compressive force and push. Still 20% here, 20 seconds, folks. Breathe. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. We're going to go one more time. One more time. Doing good. Last one. Let's go 60%. 20 seconds again. Ease up. Create that compressive force. 60%. Breathe. 10 seconds down. Almost there. Hold tight. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Now, we get into those skater squats, folks. This is going to be a single leg drill. As usual, adjust as you need to. If you need to have both feet on the floor, and I'll actually show you a regression that you can do for the skater squat, which would effectively be more like a split squat, right? Now, for the skater squat, we'll primarily want to be on just one foot here. And you want to keep that foot active. What that means is if you are not pressing your toes into the floor, your foot is not as active as you think it actually is. You need to actively press your feet or press your toes into the floor. That's going to create that arch, and that's going to create a little bit more stability in the ankle. That's what we need. Now for the skater squat, in terms of how far away you're going to be from your suspension trainer, think of it as lining up the same way for the curl, right? Start with standing straight up and the suspension trainer touching your chest, right? That's how you know you're actually at the right distance here. Because if you're too far back, you're not going to really be able to utilize that movement. Now starting here, I'm going to start with my left foot grounded first. So remember, actively push your toes into the floor here. I'm going to keep my right foot off the floor. If you need to regress it, just get into a close split squat position, but keeping most of that weight on that front leg. So as you're going through it, all my weight's here, right? So I'm gonna keep my left foot down. I'm gonna press all 5 of my toes into the floor here, particularly, but real emphasis on that big toe. I'm gonna keep my right foot off the floor, and I'm actually gonna bend my right knee here. Now from this position, I'm going to squat down. It's basically a single leg squat. I'm gonna go down till my right knee touches the floor and push right back up off that left foot, all right? So let's just go 8 reps here. So that's 1, down, 2, 3, keep it controlled, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Now we're gonna switch. Also, your knee should be going over mid-foot, right? Not towards the medial part. If you're even going a little bit more towards the lateral aspect of your foot, that's okay, but you wanna keep it over mid-foot best you can. Other side, right foot down, drive those toes into the floor, create that stability. All right, 8 reps, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, 8. Good. Take a second here. We're going to go into another set. Now, when doing those, if you do want to still actually kind of go into a little bit of a hinge here. You're squatting, right? But squats still do require a little bit of a hinge, right? You don't need to remain super duper upright, but you also don't want to find that your positioning is here when you're at the bottom, right? Right. One last set, 8 reps each side. Then we're going to get into the deep fascial stretching, folks. Let's get into it. So left foot is down, driving those toes into the floor. Be nice and active here. You want to, and also pull the slack out. There shouldn't really be too much slack in the suspension trainer. Down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Switch sides. You're just tapping the knee to the floor. If your knee is slamming on the floor, reduce your range of motion. All right? Grab the ground with the right foot. Create that tension. Pull the slack out on the suspension trainer. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. Good. That concludes suspension trainer training for today. Now, let's go ahead and get into the deep fascial stretching. We're going to take one stick. We're going to start off with the slap shot. So we're going to kind of get everything all at once, and then we're going to get into stretching out the chest, the shoulders, getting into stretching out the biceps as well. I'm going to take the stick, place it across my mid-back. Palms are facing forward. Take a relatively wide stance. As usual, you can always adjust the width of your stance as you go along here. So if you need to move them in, move your feet a little closer, don't be afraid to do so. If you need to move your feet out wider, don't be afraid to do that either. Hands are out wide, sticks across the mid-back, slight bend to the knees. I'm going to drive my hips back. So I'm hinging, getting a stretch in my hamstrings. If your hamstrings are sore like mine, probably feels pretty good. Probably feels pretty good, right? Now from here, I'm gonna rotate the left end of the stick down to my center line. I'm gonna pull apart, 20% tension. Hold. I'm gonna ease off that pulling apart. Now I'm gonna rotate the right end down. Place it down, pull apart. It's getting that upper back activation, getting some rotation. Ease off. Rotate the left end down further, pull apart. Breathe, ease off. Rotate the right end down further, pull apart. Again, this is only 20%. Got a little itch there. Ease off. Rotate that left end down even further, pull apart. Now lunge to your left, driving off that right leg. Now lunge to your right, driving off the left leg. It's okay if that bottom arm bends. Pull apart, lunge to the left, drive off the right, drive off the left, drive off the right, actually drive off the left. Back to center, rotate that right end down, place it, pull apart, lunge to the right, drive off that left leg, drive off the right, lunge towards that left, lunge to the right, left, excellent, right, breathe, left, excellent, back to center, come out, squeeze those glutes to stand up, now wiggle those feet in, nice and slow, excellent. Now we're going to grab the second stick, and this is where we're going to get into shoulder extension. So here we're going to make sure, for one, we're going to get into stretching out the bicep and anterior delt. However, positioning makes a difference. So as we do this, you don't want the shoulder to end up being here. You want to try to keep that shoulder down as you go into extension. That is what really gets us to access that anterior arm line, right? Getting that shoulder and the bicep. So let's go ahead and get into it, folks. I'm going to use the ramp as if it's a corner of a wall. So if you have a corner of a wall, this is going to be something good for you to utilize. And so from here, we're going to have both ends of the sticks going into the corner of the ramp, right? I'm going to have my hands down at my side here. Reason why we're going here is it allows us to step forward in order to get into the stretch. I'm going to have my thumbs facing forward or my palms facing in towards my body. Arms are straight, and I want to keep my shoulders down. Remember, you don't want that anterior rotation of the shoulder. Keep those shoulders down. Now from here, I'm going to pick my right foot up, so I'm going to have my left foot down, and I'm going to step forward with my right foot. You can figure out the distance. And now from here, keeping my shoulders down, I'm going to shift forward and lean. As I do that, should be getting a stretch in the biceps and anterior part of the shoulders. If your chest is pretty tight, you're probably going to feel a little bit of a stretch in the chest. Going to come back up, and we're going to switch feet here. Same thing, pick that left foot up, step forward, arms are straight, shoulders down, and then shift forward into that front leg. Breathe. Excellent. Back up. And relax. I'm going to come back over here. Face forward. Feet are at roughly about hip to shoulder width. And I'm going to have the bottom of the sticks on the outside of both feet in line with my toes here. Now from this position, arms are going to be out straight. All right, we're going to be moving the sticks as we're in this position. Again, going from the chest, shoulders to bicep, and we're actually going to be rotating a little bit to create a little bit more of a lengthening on those lines. So I'm going to start with my arms straight out, only driving the sticks into the floor about 10%. So super, super, super light. Now from here, I'm going to hinge back, bring my chest towards the floor. Something I want you to keep in mind is, if you look to your side, it should be as if the sticks are in line with your shoulders here. Now I'm going to move my hands going down towards my hips. Notice there's going to be a little bit of a shift in where you feel that stretch. So now you should be feeling that anterior delt. Now from this position here, I'm going to internally rotate my shoulders. As I do that, a bigger stretch on that anterior delt, even a little bit on the bicep. Then I'm going to bring the sticks back out to the side. I'm going to come up, nice and slow, and ease off. Excellent. Let's get into some rotation. Let's open up that spine. All right? Did all this stuff today. Let's open up that spine. So we've done this drill before. Rule of thumb. Stick comes on the outside of both legs, right? So we're going to start with the left foot forward first. Right foot is going to be back. Remember, wide base equals more stability. So go with the wider base. I'm going to have the stick in my left hand. That's going to come on the outside of my left leg, my fault. And the bottom of the stick is going to be on the outside of my right foot. Now, with this left leg, we need to load it. So I'm going to shift forward on that front leg, and I'm actually going to create tension into the stick. So I'm going to drive my left leg out or abduct that left hip in order to create some tension. I'm going to reach towards the end of the stick with my right hand, and I'm going to pull back a little bit. We're already getting a little bit of rotation here, right? Now I'm going to let go with the left hand, and I'm going to open up and rotate to my left. As I do that, I'm actively pulling with this right hand. Now we're going to go through 3 breath cycles, right? Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. Good. 2 more. One more. Return back forward and ease off. We're going to switch sides, folks. I'm actually going to turn to the side for this one. Right leg forward, left leg is back. Create that wide base. Stick comes on the outside of that front leg and on the outside of that back foot here. Remember, load that front leg, abduct that hip, reach across with the left, actively pull up, create some of that tension, let go with the right hand, open up and rotate to the right. Good. Breathe. 3 breath cycles. Slowly return back forward. Ease off and relax. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me. I hope everybody had a good class. Wanted to make it slightly more intense, but also just kind of have fun with the suspension trainer, right? Just kind of bring in a little bit more muscle building and just do some fun stuff. However, thank you for joining me for today, and I will be sure to catch you all next weekend. As usual, stay safe. Have a good weekend. Catch y'all later.